Hi, everyone. I'm Kathryn Rose. I'm the CEO and founder of channelWise. And channelWise is a platform that provides channel partners access to vetted, been there, done that experts for one-on-one video consultations that help them go farther, faster in their business. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming channelWise expert and founding advisory board member, Frank Raimondi from IGI Cybersecurity. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Kathryn. Good to be here. Appreciate the time.
It's great. So we've known each other for a while, right? And I know that you ran channels for Intel for many years. So let's just jump in and talk a little bit about how you've seen the evolution of channel programs over the years.
Yeah, it's been ever evolving, right? There's been, different focuses of, just get them in, right? And then there's, okay, now that they're in, now the partners are in, let's get them tiered so that we, from a vendor selfish standpoint, right? We want the big ones to grow bigger and bigger, the smaller ones to get to that bigger. So we want them to incentivize. So, there's always a selfish motive in the channel partner programs, right? To be perfectly honest. But I think what's probably changed the most in that doesn't go away. I mean, that's still an objective today. But I think that the change has been on how vendors sort of approach the partners and sort of their understanding of the partners and what their business is, right? Not just creating a program that matches the vendor's needs. It's truly trying to develop and or deliver a program that matches the partner's needs. And, again, Intel was a good example. Over the time there was kind of siloed programs that kind of brought them under one umbrella. And, as your business focus changes or a business, you might have three focuses within your business. You have the tools, you have the expertise, the training, right? That's best targeted to you. So I think, that I would say at a high level is probably the biggest and continuous change to partner programs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because it used to be that you would pretty much go to market with one vendor, right? And now there's so many things oftentimes you don't even know who's behind the scenes, right? So it's really important, obviously, for the vendor suppliers to make sure that they're really keying into what their partners actually need, and rather than saying, well, you're going to go to market with us, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think that sort of reflects, I mean, again, looking in security field where I'm focused right now, there you go to any trade show, a small show, big show, 80% plus of the vendors in the sort of the eye candy in the room is around security, right? And cybersecurity and different tools and different. So it is from a partner's perspective, it is a bit overwhelming. And I think the relevance of a program or of a partner program is still there, but it drops down to, the partner needing to get what he needs when he needs it. Is the product affordable? Of course, is it do what he needs to deliver more value to his customers? And then the partner program can supplement those requirements or those needs that they're looking for. But yeah, the landscape is overwhelming. It's just vendor fatigue. I've heard used a lot, right? Of partners coming to an event and just like, okay, yeah, and it's a lot of again called eye candy, or it's a lot of cool new technologies that they want to try, and the time to get to evaluation to really understand does it work becomes a little more more and more difficult.
That's a really good point because, coming from Intel, obviously with a full blown program and a lot of partners, and then being a consultant, and now with IGI, what are some of your pieces of advice for the channel marketers out there who are trying to stand up a channel program, maybe at another cybersecurity company, or what's the best way to really approach partners to get them to join your program?
Well, it's you used to say social. I mean, you still say social media is kind of the standard things, but it's really I think what it's coming down to is presence, sort of face-to-face presence and consistency, right? It's not you're not at one show a quarter. You're not making news once a quarter on a new feature launched, whatever. There's I guess it's not an easy answer to come up with, right? Because it just really depends on what the category is, right? What is the, who's your ideal customer? I mean, we've looked at multiple times of, okay, who needs to buy this? Who's the end user that needs this product, right? Okay, we'll identify them, that persona, that whatever you want to call from a marketing perspective, and take it back one level. Okay, where are they getting their information? Where are they getting their advice? Where are they getting their purchases from, right? Where are they going to get that technology from? And then where is that partner getting, if that's a partner, or it could be some other kind of marketplace, for example, right? Where are they getting the product and the information from, right? So it's kind of following, taking it back the steps away from the ultimate end user of your product, right? And you got to align, right? You can't be, there's way too many vendors that have come up with the best technology you can ever imagine, right? It's slices bread and bakes it, or reverse.
Does my laundry, I always say, like, it's going to do my laundry.
Yeah, it's going to do your laundry and, fold it and put it away all in one, one easy deal. Well, that's great. But if you can't communicate about it, if you can't make it easy, and, I love an old phrase we used to call just frictionless, right? If you can provide a frictionless environment or path for a partner to find you, to see you, to get a hold of you, to get support from you, that's really critical. And again, that's going to come from multiple things. It's going to come from a YouTube channel. It's going to come from a partner portal, or maybe I'll get to partner portals in a second. But other things like event shows, right? Partners want a relationship, right? They need to know about the product first off, but they want to know that you're going to be around, that you're going to support them. So there's lots of things there. One of the I mentioned about the portals. One of the pieces that we've done at IGI and kind of gone away from a specific partner portal that they have to sign up for, log in, blah blah blah. Because from a vendor perspective, they're very expensive, and from a partner perspective, there's so many, right? That how do you keep track and get to what you need to quickly? We've adopted a program called with Kickpost, or kickpost.io, and they have a tool that for vendors, think of kind of a combination of social media and a partner portal or partner information, right? We can post information there. Partners and the individual reps can come in and log in and get information when they need it. They can see multiple vendors all at once. So it's kind of one login for multiple folks. So kind of a community of channel partners and channel vendors that can, find each other and have easy access to information. So all that kind of comes around to, right, it's very crowded, very noisy, and you want to make some hay, but you can't be obnoxious about it, right? And you got to understand, but what is the end user looking for, and where are they looking for it? And then find those partners that match to your technology, your products, services, solutions, et cetera. And make, again, just make it as frictionless as possible.
Well, you mentioned that vendor fatigue, right? Because, there's, as you mentioned, there's so many, just in the cybersecurity space, but they obviously need others besides the, kind of partner portals, and go in the shows that you go to. You mentioned that it's really important to have that personal relationship. And I think one of the challenges we've seen, just in the past little bit here with the contraction, so many vendors are slashing their channel marketing budgets. And what's happening is these face-to-face things seem to fall off because they want to do everything remotely, or they want to do, virtual and that kind of stuff, which obviously there's some value there. But, what can you advise the people who are out there trying to get these, face-to-face events back on the track? Should it be like regional events, you thinking, or like what are some of your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's it kind of comes back to it depends, but I think that the events are very practical, right? And the regional events, we're doing a combination this year, right? Some of the big channel shows, as well as the 100 or less channel shows, right? We've got different audiences like telecom service brokers and agents, right, that are trying to Telarus is one of our partners, and we are looking at, they're doing different events that are more focused and try to bring more value add into the partner attending. So, we might decide to spend, X thousand at 2 of those versus, X times 2,000 at one big event. So it's a combination of access. And I honestly don't think, coming out of the pandemic, last year was probably kind of like the, oh, I'm free, I'm last, let me get out there. And there was, all kinds of shows and people were going all over the place. So I think this year it's going to continue to be, an in-person play, because, you think about it, there is so much noise otherwise for a partner to sift through, right? On social, on the emails they're getting, on the webinar options, right? There's still so many, but when a partner goes to an event and it's, in person, again, whether it's regional or a big one, they can go and talk to somebody that they want to talk to, as opposed to, trying to find them. And they still like, they still like coming to and finding new technologies and new services, because, they are having demands, whether it's, for cyber insurance requirements that a company is, their customer, the end user is coming to them, hey, I need to hit this NIST guidelines. How do I do that? Well, a lot of partners are uncertain about that. So they're looking for targeted solutions. And, if they find you, you're going to, it's going to be a good hit. So it's I think cutting off despite your face sometimes can be very short-sighted. So I think it's definitely a combination. And if you have to, as a vendor, if you have to reduce your overall budgets, then reduce them in kind. Don't chop off one to support the other. I think you can't these days. I don't think you can stop doing any one particular thing.
Well, and and you mentioned some of the unique partner programs, and obviously you're a founding advisory board member of channelWise. So talk a little bit about why you decided to to really support us and and the services that we're offering.
Yeah, well, I think and again, I love the program and what it's doing and what it's offering, and mostly because, and again, I know 80% of the partners in the MSP world in particular are 5 people or less, or 5 or 10 people, right? So they don't have the marketing staff, they don't have an SEO expert, they don't have a email or social media expert on staff, but they need to, right? They need to have access to them. And I think, the value with channelWise, and why I was so excited about it and helpful, or, wanting to help it get off the ground, is the ability for, again, an MSP partner that, I need 2 hours of somebody's time. I just need to vent, right? I need to brainstorm with somebody without going into a long-term consulting contract, or, I need I keep using SEO as a, how do I improve my website and my communications, and how I'm reaching my target audience. Well, where do you start? Well, now you can start with channelWise, get a couple hours, get an hour in with somebody. And if you need more than that, keep going and use the platform. If you don't, and you're good, go on to the next topic that you need an expert in. So, the range of expertise in the program is there for, all kinds of different partners. And that's what I think is really the huge value of what it's bringing to the channel is, on demand, fractional, whatever you want to call it. It's expertise when you need it, and, at an affordable, in an affordable way.
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on our founding advisory board, and all the, the great advice that you've been able to give us. And I know obviously part of your role out there is to, work with IGI, but also, giving advice, at these shows, to the different partners and everything that are out there. And I think one of the things I wanted to kind of point back to is what you mentioned about the fact that, like, let's say a partner needs cybersecurity insurance. They come to the partner and say, oh my gosh, I need cybersecurity insurance. And, they're approaching the vendor. I think what I heard you say is, from the vendor perspective, one of the most important things is to have some kind of a clue of what the challenges that your partners are facing. And even if you don't offer cybersecurity insurance, you can say, oh, our solution, ticks
Exactly.
these boxes, or go over here to find that person, or whatever the challenges of the end user. It seems like it's a very it should be a natural thing that the vendor supplier understands those
Absolutely.
challenges and are able to speak to them, even if they don't offer those services.
Right. Well, and I think in particularly with my history at Intel and since then, even my change in my role at IGI is more on alliances and partnerships. And I think, you have to understand as a vendor, you have to understand where you are in the whole scheme of things, right? Are you a seedling? Are you a branch? Are you you're going to get grafted onto somebody else's fruit tree? Or are you going to, are you the whole tree yourself? And one of the things that I kind of my mantra, if you will, or my strong belief and passion is around partnerships that, if 1 + 1's got to equal 3, right? It's got to make sense. But you got to be willing to try different partnerships. And kind of to your point, we might have one piece of the delivery of a cybersecurity insurance application, but I need to know who the other partners are, right? And I need to know, hey, Mr. MSP, when you're coming and using our product, you get X and Y. But if you really want to deliver, you need Z that does, this next stage. So you have to be, aware of your situation, right? Aware of the ecosystem around you, support it. I think, the philanthropy, if you will, of the channel and folks like channelWise, right? I mean, I think the whole point is enabling. We all got day jobs, right? But we want to help other folks in their day jobs get a little bit of expertise where they need it and when they need it. So, the partnerships is a way to do that. Again, whether it's an hour a week or or more. There's a lot of people here that at our company, at other companies that we work with, that want to help. So I think you just need to be open to the theory and realize that 99 times out of 100, if you're a vendor, your product is not the only thing somebody needs. Right.
Exactly.
You need to work with them. You need to understand, what are the limitations, there's going to be some redundancies, sure, but face them and be honest about it.
Right. I think it's really important. Obviously, this whole concept of ecosystem where, you're not an island, right? You're not just doing your own thing. There are other pieces. For the vendor suppliers out there, in your role here as the alliances person, what are some tips that you can give to them when they're looking for alliance partners? Like, how do you structure that from your perspective as a vendor?
You got to look at first off, you have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, right? And where what your roadmap is. So you're not kind of what your core competency is. So you have to obviously know that in and out. And then you have to look, kind of looking beyond what does my product need to work with, right? What's the next best thing that, if we were together, if we acquired them or they acquired us, would that be a good fit, right? Is that something combined better than the two individuals? And so you kind of have to look at that from the vendor standpoint. You might not be interested in an acquisition or a merger, but you got to think almost like if you were, right? When does this make sense? Because if it makes sense from a merger, then it's going to make sense from a partnership, right? At a starting point, right? You're not going to get to a merger until you've got a partnership. So kind of think of it as that's, I may not really want to get there, but that's kind of what I need to be thinking of. And so, Intel, examples were, we were a CPU and at some point we were motherboards, but, we needed the memory, we needed the OS, we needed the chassis, we needed the storage, you needed networking, you needed blah, 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 blah. Right. So we were really forced in my role. I was really forced to sort of look beyond just what the Intel wanted. I had to look at what the end user or the system builder or the partner wanted and help them find those pieces. Right. So, if in a partnership or an alliance build out or allowing strategy, you got to be thinking about what are you starting with? What's the next stage that if you could develop yourself, what would it be? And go, and then and if you don't want to do that, then look for somebody that's in that space or close to it.
So it helps the entire, the channel when folks work together, pretty much is what you're saying.
100,000%. Absolutely. Again, it takes a village, right? I mean, it takes an ecosystem to, particularly if we're keeping the partner in mind, right? What's simplistic, what keeps them, going to a new product, right? It's not when they have to talk to 5 different things and figure out if they work together, right? Yeah. It's, these 5 vendors, they've worked together. Here's how it works together. They've got APIs working together. Boom, it's one solution from their mind that they might have to buy things individually, but I know it's going to work together because these guys have promoted it and driven it, and made it technically possible. So it's a win-win when everybody's participating and sharing and knowing what your limits are, and be willing to go beyond them when you need something.
Well, and also sounds
that's what channelWise provides, right? When a partner needs some other little expertise, maybe somebody listening would say, Frank, I need an hour. Let's brainstorm about who could we partner with, right? I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I think too that the idea of the collaboration you were saying too is, not only from the perspective of the vendor partner relationship where there's that trust that has to be built, but also with alliance partners as well. You're not going to go to market with someone you haven't met in person, or you haven't you haven't built some kind of a relationship with. So that can be another reason that you would go to these shows, and you'd go to even channelWise to get information or whatever, so you can see like what is it like working with this company and these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Frank, so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. And of course, we, even more appreciate you as a founding advisory board member and all the things that you bring to the table for us. And if you'd like, deeper advice or a conversation with Frank, you can go to channelwise.com. We'll put his link into the chat. And, if other questions, obviously we have, hundreds of experts from around the globe that can help you with, as Frank said, SEO, marketing, all different types of things that we know channel partners and vendors are grappling with today. So again, thanks, Frank, for being here.
You're welcome.
And thanks for supporting us. And we will see you all next time on Ask the Expert.